Hello everybody, how are we all? Hope you're all good. And let me just check I'm not on mute before I fucking start gibbering away. No, I'm not. Cool. So, I haven't made a video for a few days because I've done a thing. I've joined, you can see behind there, look, beatthecasino.com, which costs a little bit of money. But with that, I also got the Beath the Casino Ultimate Baccarat App. Sounds sexy, doesn't it? So yeah, so that's why I've not been not been recording much lately, because there is so much to fucking learn on Beath the Casino, man. I'm not even kidding. It is an absolute treasure trove of knowledge, and there is so much to go through. So yeah, I've just been messing about basically. But let's talk you through. It's not going to let us do anything until there's some results in. I'll talk you through the app briefly, and the app basically uses 4 different, I don't want to say strategies, calculations, and then it makes, again, I don't want to say predictions because it can't tell the future, but it'll make suggestions on what the next bet should potentially be. I can talk you through 2 of them. You've got one there, ST, and no matter how much I fucking tap or swipe, I can't get on it. But that is a score tracking. So on that one, you actually put in the numerical value of the hands, and it makes recommendations based on that. Can't get into it though, it's a fuck knows. You've then got the dashboard, which gives you an overview of these. It looks like 3, but it's 2. You've got 7D, 7D Plus, and V87. Well, 7D and 7D, it's the same thing. It's there is a calculation that is, if you go on Beath the Casino's YouTube page, it's called 5D, and it's just that expanded, basically. And V87 is the same. You can find out what that's all about on Beath the Casino's YouTube. And then there's one here that I won't go into because it's not been made public, and I don't want to step on anybody's toes, and to be perfectly honest, I don't use it all that much anyway. Although it does look interesting, I haven't quite wrapped my head around it yet. So I'll tell you what, I'll just put in a couple of results and I can talk you through then. So you've got the dashboard, which is basically just a summation of 7D and V87. So what 7D does is it looks at, so you've got, I'll put some more results in, just randomly tap some things just so we've got something to look at. Right then. So yeah, you get your scorecard down there, and then 7D, it'll be 5D if you go on, like I say, on their YouTube channel. It then basically looks back at previous hands. So you've got O1 and R1, so that's opposite 1 and repeat 1. And that, I assume, I still haven't entirely wrapped my head around this myself yet. If we had a player last, back 1 and opposite is banker. Yes. And where the 8 comes into it. Oh, right, okay, sorry, yeah. So it's currently banker. Yeah, back 1 and opposite 1 is banker from player. And that opposite, or it has been opposite 8 times, and it's been a repeat once, which actually you can see looking at how I've just randomly tapped those things in. You've got 1 repeat there, everything else has been an opposite. Same again, if you look 2 back, it's currently a repeat of player. It's been a repeat twice, 2 back. No, sorry, it's been opposite twice, 2 back, and it's been a repeat 6 times. So basically what the idea is you look at all the 7 dimensions, and you've got 7 on this screen, and then it goes even fucking further. You've got 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15 in total, which obviously will start populating as more hands get drawn. And you look for disparities between what's out and what's happened previously. This is probably not making any sense, is it? So you know, if one back has been an opposite 8 times, then you're probably going to bet banker next, aren't you? Because you've got a player, and one back being opposite has happened more frequently. So you go from player to banker. That would be your next bet. And then if a lot of these agree with each other, so you've got 3 there where it's been banker, 4 there, sorry, where it's been banker out of 5, well then you think, right, well banker's probably a safe bet. That's the crux of it, basically. And then V87 basically looks at events. So an event is, say it's 1 on the main road and it doesn't drop down to 2, 1 stayed 1. So if you look on banker, 1 stayed 1 3 times, 1 went to 2 once, 2 stayed at 2 once. It hasn't gone from 2 to 3 yet. So what am I looking at? Oh, that's player I've just been tapping on. Yeah, so 1 went to 2, it didn't stay at 2, 2 went to 3. So then again you look for things, patterns basically. So if it's going and staying at 1 very frequently, then you're basically in a chop, aren't you? That is the crux of it. And then these 3 tabs across the top are all sort of surmised into a dashboard, which can be a bit confusing, but it shouldn't be that confusing. Let me just tap some things until... Right then, so these, so you've got all disp, which is for 7D, it's all the disparities. In fact, if I just shove that across, so all disp is all disparities, meaning it's the difference of all the 7 disparities counted up, and the leading overall is recommended. High disparity is made only on the highest recommendation, and then high disp equals all is a combination of the 2. Okay. These red boxes aren't to be confused, meaning that it's thinking that it's a banker suggestion. It isn't. A red box means it's currently hot. If it's cold, it'd be blue. But yeah, unfortunately also we all know that player and banker are blue and red, so but as long as you remember that, then you'll be fine. And then it also gives you the time before last and the opposite time before last, and what's winning over all out of those 2. And then you've got your V87 combined, and we're currently on player, so see these boxes are green, it means they're neutral, they're not hot but they're not cold. So what I tend to do with this is I just tend to usually keep it on the dashboard, and then I will look for all 3 of these disparities to agree with each other, and then ideally for either time before last or opposite time before last to also agree. So you can see in this case that I've got 3 bankers recommended or suggested. Time before last has won 4 times. So if I was playing a game now, I'd be betting banker. Straightforward enough, isn't it? I mean, it isn't. Just having this app doesn't mean you'll win, because this doesn't predict the future. And I've got a lot more to learn about how to use it to its full potential. But I'm doing okay with it. I got it a couple of days ago, and had a couple of losing sessions while I was figuring it out, but I'm fairly sure I got it on the 29th, and I am currently £100 up, and I'm not playing like big units or anything. So yeah, it's like a little bit up and down, but in general, not too bad. So shall we just open some fucking tables and have a go? It's probably the easiest way to do it, isn't it? Let me click and hold that and clear that. Bosh, and find a table. What I like to do is find a table that's been running for a little while, so we've got some info to input already, and I can sort of see how it's behaving based on that. So let's have a bit of sound there. I do still play the +1 progression, but I've had to go fucking old school and go onto a pad because I haven't got the screen fucking real estate anymore. So you might see me leaning over and jotting stuff down. I'm not writing anything down that you haven't seen before. I'm just keeping track of the +1 betting progression. So let's... I don't even know what I'm looking for, to be honest. Something kind of repeaty, I guess. Let's try that. And we'll start putting things in, and you'll see how the dashboard changes as I'm inputting things. So we've got banker, player, 1, 2, 3 bankers, player, banker. So those have lit up now. WL is win-loss as well, so it'll tell you how many times that recommendation has won or lost. Apparently that can go into the negative, but I haven't seen it yet. So banker, 3, 2 players, 1, 2, 1 banker, 1, 2 players, 1, 2, 3 bankers, and then banker, player, banker, player, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Player, banker, player. Player, banker, player. So you can see at the minute then, it's recommending a banker bet, and time before last has won 4 times, and banker came in. So I imagine it'll be a player recommendation next, and player recommendations won twice. So let's put £1 on that. It is backed up by time before last. It's also backed up by V87. One stayed at 1 12 times. It's currently hot, so that recommends a player bet. And we're currently on banker. It recommends a player bet. One stayed at 1 6 times for banker. And we lost that, which is a bugger. So now then, because it's been on a chop for a long time, it's just gone to 2. And because I've got some quite tight settings on here, it's not recommending anything at the minute, which is fine by me. So I'm just making a note of my starting balance. 20 and 1. So that was player. So it's not making any recommendations yet. And I've got a feeling I probably use this app a bit differently to most people on the forum. I think they tend to sort of snipe bets, I think, generally more than I do, whereas I'll just get on and do +1. So if we nip over to these tabs while we're looking then, so you can see there's no real discrepancies, like no big discrepancies between anything, which is why it's currently not giving any recommendations. There is one there for banker and there's one there for player, but I guess they kind of cancel each other out. And you can see now as well, time before last is dropping right down. It was at 4 a minute ago. So I actually don't mind playing Baccarat this way, because I did play quite a bit of roulette using roulette tools, and a lot of that you'd be sort of just observing, looking for a player signature, and I sort of view this the same, to be honest. I was kind of looking for a shoe signature, so it's recommending a player bet now, which if you look at the main road would kind of agree with the trend at the minute. You've got 2's trend going on. So all your disparities recommend player, and your V87 sort of do as well. And we won that one. So it's recommending player again, which makes sense looking at the current trend, so we'll get on it again. So this is not a very good advert for the app because it's so nuanced and there's so much, it can be quite deep. There's a lot to it, there's a lot to learn. But so far so good, I'm enjoying it so far. So we won that. Now it recommends Banker, which again does make sense looking at the current trend we've got going on. So if we nip over to... So there's a disparity of 2 there, and opposite is hot. I've tightened the settings up so it's difficult to explain how hot works. It's basically 3 out of 3 events the same. By events I don't necessarily mean results, like hand results. Events could be 1 stays 1 or 1 goes to 2. If it's the same, did I put that in? Yeah, I did. Banker. If it's the same, 3 in a row, then it will be hot. We won that one. So it's recommending player again. And you can see you've got your 3 recommendations there. V87 2 stays 2 is hot. You've got a red box around it. And opposite time before last has won 4 times. So that basically is all agreeing. So you've got loads of signs pointing to the same thing. And that's what you need to use this app for. It's not a crystal ball. It's just a tool to analyse what's going on. And it's then on you to bet as required, basically. But, like I say, it's not a cheap purchase, but I can see it paying for itself sort of in the long term. And actually, if you use it for a few weeks, decide it's dog shit, there is a 30-day money back guarantee, so if I really don't get on with it, then I'll just get my money back. But so far so good. I've no idea why I can't get onto ST, no idea at all. Right, this is recommending a player bet again, so let's do that. One of the only, it's not really a drawback, but it's a very American, it seems to be a very American forum. Like doesn't seem like there's many other nationalities on there, so sort of time-wise for me it's not that active. So it's recommending player again, but everyone on there is fucking that I have interacted with has been sound as. And I'll say there's fucking so much information on there, videos, PDFs, documents, fucking loads of shit. It's not shit, but loads of information. Yeah, one thing that I am slowly learning is it's not just a case of open the app and win. It's all it'll do is give you information, and it's up to you to interpret how best to apply that information. Although it does kind of look like I'm just blindly following the app at the minute. I am and I'm not. I am looking at several things within the app, like I've already pointed out, like V87, that's all tying up. You see everything there is pointing towards Banker, but I'm also looking at the main road to see what's going on. That was a player, so that sucks. But that is the first time we've lost the second bet so far, so Right then, so I'm not going to bet just now because it... Yeah, I mean, the disparities are recommending banker, which would continue the chop that's currently happening. But then we've also had a lot of it going 1-2, so... And it tied. So again, I'm just going to sit this one out and see what happens next. I'll have a vape while I'm doing it. Okay, so the chop did continue, so the disparities were right. Now it's suggesting player. And I'll go with that. Opposite time before last doesn't agree, but the chop that's currently going on agrees. V87 agrees. So that's what I mean, like, you just have to interpret it as you will. And remember, it is still Baccarat and fucking anything can happen like that. I think player this time. I think it'll go opposite. And I'm only doing that because it hasn't gone past 2 for a very, very long time. It's only gone to 2 once. And there we go. Pardon me. There's one of the very basic strategies that doesn't require the app, called System 40. And I quite often drop back to that, and it's a really basic system. It's just fucking play the opposite, basically. is it in a nutshell? There's a little bit more nuance to it than that, but like, if the app can't make a decision, then I can see that actually it might just go opposite. See, I'll trust the app on this one. It says disparity. The disparities say banker. Opposite time before last says banker. It has gone to banker twice, quite a few times, but not this time. Right, then, so it says banker again, which would agree with the chop. So we'll put 3 down. Because I'm working through the +1 progression. I know you can't see it on screen, but it's there we go. Ooh. Right then, again I'm going to go opposite, which would agree with opposite time before last and V87. It's just the disparities can't make their mind up. And banker is strong side a little bit. But player 1 again. So we'll wait and see what happens next, see what recommendations are made, if any. Another player. I think it'll be banker this time. Let's see. Possibly not. Oh, it's a tie. Okay. Still think it'll be banker. Yeah, one of the rules of System 40, which is kind of what I'm basing this decision on, is you play opposite. If you lose, you play opposite, you lose. And you stick on the one that won when that wins, or if that wins, and you play opposite of what won. Which is where we are at the minute, and banker won. So now it is recommending player. Go on then. The disparities are anyway, and that would bring us back onto the chop, so there we go, player 1. Now I need to up my bet to 4, and I'll be betting on banker. If you don't know what I'm doing on this pad, look at some of my previous videos. I talk about the +1 betting progression a lot. I've been using it for a while. It's good, I like it. I'm going to need a good card now. 8 or a 9? Nah, 7. So that was a 4 I need to mark down. So we've got no bet at the minute. I'll bet opposite though on banker, because I do think that chop will come back. Maybe not. Oh yes it does, there we go. Okay then, back to player for 4. Back across to banker for 4. Okay, that's saying player, so go on then, I'll take your word for it. Let's see what happens. Can we have a look at that? Right, it's because repeat 3 back, there's a big disparity of 6 there. And it won. So there we go. You see, if I'd have just assumed the chop and carried on, I would have lost that. And banker this time for 5. Nice if this one wins as well. It was a tie. I'll rebet that. I need a decent card. That's too decent, and that didn't help us either. So player and player, okay. So at this point I'll probably have bet banker, so would I? Hang on. Bet opposite and win, bet opposite and lose, bet opposite and lose. No, you go on the run actually, so yeah, that should be player, won that. And now it says player again, okay. Not sure that I agree, but I mean V87 recommends player, all the disparities recommend player, opposite time before last recommends player. We're on 0 now though, so need a good card. And banker. Right then, so it says player again, which, yeah, that would bring us back onto the chop, so opposite time before last doesn't agree, but V87 does, all the disparities do. And it's banker again. Player. We'll have another go. Because again, most things are pointing to it. And player 1, we got that one. So now that recommends banker. So I missed it, bollocks. See what happens with this hand then. Not the end of the world, not getting on hand means you can't lose, doesn't it? Oh, it was a tie anyway, so. Right, so that's recommending banker. Opposite time before last isn't. But banker would bring us back onto that shop. Haven't left this muted, have I? No, cool. So this time, disparities say banker, opposite time for last says banker, V87 says banker. Got 2 pattern building, so I would say banker is a good a bet as any, or a potential 2 pattern building, should I say. We'll wait and see what happens and see if it becomes a 2 pattern, obviously. There we go, we won that one. And yeah, it recommends banker again. Thought it might, with it being the current state of the main road. Maybe on this card, but it was a banker win. Probably, yeah. So a player bet next. Ideally, I'll win this one and that'll clear all my negatives, and then I'll call that a session. There we go, we won that one. So I will call that a session then, guys. My starting balance was £650 and I'm at £665 now, so that's 15 units in not a huge amount of time. So yeah, that is the Beat the Casino Ultimate Baccarat app. Say there's a lot to it and I am definitely not using it to its full potential, but yeah, so far I'm quite impressed with it. So I hope you enjoyed that, hope you found it useful and helpful and all that good shit. And I say, if you're interested in learning about 5D and V87, there are videos on it that shows you how to mark it all manually and calculate it all. It's just a bit fucking long-winded, which is why the app is such a godsend, and it sort of sums everything up in one easy screen for you to see as well, which is nice. But anyway, yeah, that's me waffling now, so I'm going to go. Catch you later all on. Catch you all later. See you later.